Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod. What's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod. I'm your host, Lester Class, and I just want to welcome you to another amazing episode. I got my guy, Kai Christopher, in the building. What's going on?
What's going on, bro? How's it going?
I'm doing all right. I appreciate you for being here.
Of course. Appreciate you having me.
Of course. So we just basically start off by going over, well, before we go into like where you grew up, so would you be able to tell the viewers what you do?
Yeah, so right now, serial entrepreneur. Got a lot of different things going on. Heavy in the real estate space, specifically, the Airbnb space and stuff like that. But now we get into event spaces, music studios, stuff like that. And then a lot of back end on the background, marketing and stuff like that. Different companies, different brands, and our own stuff as well. A lot of affiliate stuff. So,
Gotcha.
A lot of partnerships going on.
All right, cool. So I actually want to get into what we usually start off with is basically, where is it that you're from?
So originally born and raised in East Harlem. And then I spent the later half of my life, from 20 to now in Miami, Florida.
Gotcha.
But born and raised in Harlem.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what was life like growing up for you?
Me personally, I grew up heavy in sports. So that's where a lot of, my experiences in my early life was at. But, growing up around a lot of different types of people, you feel me? So, a lot of people that took different routes. Some people still with sports kept doing that, and some people were influenced by other things. But for me, it was a little bit. It was simple because I was I had good parents that kept me out the street and kept me on the right path and kept me focused on the right things. But yeah, for me, it was just focusing on that. I thought I was gonna take that all the way.
Gotcha.
So that's what it was like.
Okay.
Mainly.
Gotcha. So I know that I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like in some ways where you are or what you are doing currently wasn't exactly what you pictured when you were younger.
Oh, nah, not at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how is it that this all happened? Where did you find this passion of yours?
Yeah. Honestly, I think I learned it from my pops, growing up. I would see him, working, put his time and effort into, what he was doing. And then after maybe 6th or 7th grade, I started seeing him, come home from work, working his job, and then putting time into studying, learning how to put his business together, how to get his LLC, how to get his licenses. He got a pest control company now.
Okay.
But he started from nothing, you know what I'm saying? He didn't go to college because, my mom was pregnant with me. So he, all the sports, anything like that, he shelved it so he could take care of us. And then I saw him, work on pretty much building his business, learning everything himself, using the internet, you know what I'm saying? So I got that passion and that drive from him.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing how he, started from nothing, and then, going to college, playing football and doing all of that. And that didn't really work out for me as far as just actually seeing results and success with that. So, certain people I met in school and people I networked with, they gave me information about certain things, and I took it and ran with it, and certain stuff went well back in 2019, and that's when I went all in, put sports to the side and just went all in on business.
Yeah. So what was that moment like where you mentioned, I know I got a little message from you through the DM, and you basically threw yourself into this, knowing it was a risk, knowing that it was going to be difficult, knowing that there was a lot of unknowns. What was that moment like in just deciding, I know I'm going to take this risk, even though it's scary?
Yeah. I think it was after I had that realization that I was done with sports, you know what I'm saying? Because the love was gone, It was at that point, it was a point where I felt like I was just still doing it because I had so many people that invested into me or that, thought I was, that was telling me I was going to be a pro in baseball or football or whatever. And it got to a point where I was like 19 years old, turning 20, still pushing for a dream that really wasn't mine no more. You know what I'm saying? I was still trying to make it for them, but not really. I wasn't in love with the sport. So I was like, if I could, I'm seeing results with this business I'm doing. It's nothing crazy, but it's something. Not a lot of people could say they making income digitally, or they seeing results with a business or whatever. So I might as well take my focus. If my love ain't there, take my focus and put it on this. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I think it was after, I had a game. I had transferred to a junior college,
Okay.
and I was getting ready to play the first game, and I'm on the sideline. I'm warming up. The game about to start. The head coach calls out my name, and he's like, "Where's Clarillo? Where's Kyle?" I'm like, "Right here, coach." I think I'm about to check in or something, And he like, "Yeah, I forgot to tell you, you can't play today because your transfer papers, I didn't finalize everything, whatever." And after that, it was like, "Nah, it's over. I know what I'm gonna focus on."
Yeah.
Because it's like you put work into that for what? For nothing.
Mm-hmm.
For another person to have the opportunity to shut that down.
Exactly.
You know so that was like the defining moment. I'm like, "Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm done." I still went to practice and all that, but like it wasn't with any. It was just to stay in shape. You know what I'm saying? To have something to do outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when I knew like I know what I'm gonna do. And I told a lot of my teammates I play with, they'll tell you like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm moving to Miami, but I ain't worried about this shit." You know what I'm saying? So that's when it was that moment for me that everything switched. That was it's worth it.
And I have to say, like, well, I feel like in that moment where it was no longer football, right? And moments like those where, like, for example, the transcript, everything wasn't done. All these things happen for a reason.
Right.
It led you on the path that you are on currently.
That's a fact.
So, I have to go and rewind to the point where, like, what advice would you give to an individual where you are on this path, you're working your ass off to get to this point that you believe this is your future, this is everything, and it just wasn't.
Yeah, and it's crazy you say that because that's a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of people throw in the towel completely when whatever they believed was for them ends up not really being for them. I think the best piece of advice I could give people that's in that situation is, always look at, like you said, everything happened for a reason. Look at what did you learn, what skill sets did you gain, what did your mindset change. Look at everything you went through and look at how can you apply that to something else. You know what I'm saying? Because if you may have not gotten the massive success that you wanted in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't make it to the league, I didn't make it to the highest level of college, but the principles I learned, the skills I learned, how to communicate, all these different things I learned within sports, they were all transferable to business, you know what I'm saying, or transferable to everything else I was trying to accomplish. And I think everybody can transfer things that they learned in their failures to something that's going to help them get success. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to look at the bigger picture and realize it's more than often whatever happened is usually not happening to you, it's happening for you. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you look at things like that, then I think, your next endeavor, you'll be okay. And even if that one fails, just continue to pile up whatever it is you learned and keep applying until you find something that you genuinely love and you enjoy. You know what I'm saying?
So I feel like in a field like yours and what you're currently doing, which is the marketing company, the opening of studios and things of that nature, it's just, damn, my voice cracked crazy. So what I was getting at was basically like, I feel like it's important and something that gets implemented a lot is networking.
Yeah.
Within what you do.
Yeah.
So is that true? Is networking really important?
Yeah, of course. I think, one of the biggest things I learned, and I tell this to my friends and my family, for me moving from, because after I left school with football, I was back in Harlem. So my family was still living there. So I was pretty much back at square one, and that's what it felt like. And I realized the only way to change that was to change my scenery. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to meet nobody. I was by myself and YouTube and, those people that you see that you're learning from. But as far as real life, you don't know nobody else outside of, where you are. So, getting out of your environment, getting to a new place where there's new people, new opportunity is always going to benefit you. Mm-hmm. I didn't really understand the power of networking until I moved, because day one, day two, day three, every day I'm walking past new people. I'm meeting new business owners. I'm meeting people on the water, and, people pulling up on jet skis. I'm saying, what's up? They hustling. They trying to rent jet skis out. They trying to do this. They trying to do that. You meet them. You become cool with them. Now you know what I'm saying? It's just like a never-ending cycle of people who everybody's with the same intention, same goal, trying to make their life better, or take care of their family, but in a different place. You know what I'm saying? And you come to find out that most of those people is in the same position as you. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But they know people, or they know things, or they do things that, you guys can benefit from each other. This is why I
Exactly.
talk about partnerships and all of that come into play. Because
Exactly.
if you don't know nobody, you're not really gonna have access to anything. But I think networking is the biggest, the biggest. Being able to network is a skill. You know what I'm saying? Being able, like what you doing with this, you networking with people from everywhere.
Mhm.
Whoever they know, you're gonna have access to. You know what I'm saying? Or they're gonna want to come on your show and speak and give value and stuff like that. And that's gonna only in turn help grow each other. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But if you don't connect with nobody,
Then who am I gonna have sitting here?
you're gonna be here talking to yourself. You feel me? So
And you constantly opening new doors every time that you network.
Yeah.
So I actually want to ask, was it hard when moving from Harlem to Miami? Because I know that you were
Yeah.
leaving your family
yeah.
and basically living life on your own and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Was this a moment that you was probably one of the hardest?
Yeah, I mean, what was most difficult about it was being away from everybody. But I understood it was for like a bigger purpose, But yeah, missing your mom, missing your pops, missing your sisters and your family, like it gets you, especially when you thousands of miles away. But again, it's all about sacrifice, you know what I'm saying? So it's like my emotions at this moment don't matter. I gotta get right, because at the end of the day, what I'm doing is for them. You know what I'm saying? Everything, all the sacrifice I make, whatever success I want, it's not just for me, it's for my family too. So, it wasn't too hard. And then as far as adjusting to the place, because culture is different down there, people are different down there. I feel like when you're from New York, you could blend in anywhere,
Yeah.
And I stand by. I think anybody from New York can agree with that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like you could blend in anywhere. I'm talking about. I've been to Paris. I've been to Spain. Everywhere you stand out, you talk different, you walk different. But I think the best part about being from New York is that when you grow up around a lot of people, you learn how to deal with a lot of different types of people. You know what I'm saying? Different cultures, different. People got different tendencies, different attitudes. You could kind of like adapt to anything.
Exactly.
And it's a power. So.
No,
It made it easy.
Exactly.
It made it a little easy.
I have to agree because I feel like, especially in this area, like like here in New Jersey, I feel like closer to New York, and then New York is just like you deal with everybody, like and then you go and you go to some other place, and it's like, damn, like these people aren't like that. Like people are nicer, or like you already know how to deal with the certain people. It's just like I feel like it's kind of like a cheat code, like the way that. If you're growing up in an area where it's really diverse and there's a lot of different personalities, you have a cheat code. You have something that a lot of people don't. There's a lot of people that grow up with the same race that there's no diversity in their state.
Exactly. And they don't know how to deal with that.
Exactly.
They don't know how to deal with that. And I think that a lot of people tend to shy away from networking because of that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not used to walking to a room with 10 different ethnicities, and this person is from here and this person's from another country. They can't adapt to it. You know what I'm saying? So they rather just like slide off to the side.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So what advice would you give to people on like the importance of speaking to all different types of people?
Yeah. I think it's important because everybody comes from a different place, and you can learn a lot of different things, not just about business, but about life, or just have a better understanding of whatever you're trying to, you know what I'm saying? From being able to connect with different people who's from different countries, from different backgrounds, from, grew up differently, you know what I'm saying? I have a better understanding of life in general through a lot of people that have gone through stuff that I haven't went through, or, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So it's important. I think it's just being comfortable with who you are. You know what I'm saying? I think you can blend in and connect with anybody as long as you're comfortable in your own shoes, because they're going to be who they are. You're going to be who you are. You know
Exactly.
So it's just being comfortable with yourself.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
So to just get more in depth about what it is that you do, right? How is it that you got into these fields, and did you have connections beforehand when doing this, or it was just like a lonely road for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, I started from scratch with everything. Anything that I've done, or even my friends, like, we do business now mainly because of networking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got into for example, the short-term rental space because of someone I met in Miami. You know what I'm saying? That I was helping him put together his properties, and, kind of, again, I wasn't expecting nothing from him. You know what I'm saying? I networked with him. We became good friends, and that was his business at the time. And, I just, being your friend, I'm with you, I'm around you, I'm going to help you with things that you got going on. And in that process, I learned a lot, and it kind of motivated me to get started and things like that. So, that's how I got into that. And then every other business kind of it's crazy because, like you said, networking, but like everybody that I met gave me value, to start looking into stuff, to start researching stuff, to start kind of my own thing based off of what, they was doing, or any little bit of gems or information they gave me.
Exactly.
I took it and ran with it. I don't just listen, I listen and apply, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people just talk all day and listen to this YouTube video or that person, whatever, don't actually do nothing with it. But all the people I met out there that gave me information, I took it and ran with it.
Exactly.
And try to do something with it.
So you mentioned learning and applying, right?
Yeah.
Learning and applying what you have learned.
Yeah.
How important is it to continuously like gain knowledge? Because I feel like a lot of people like they don't try to learn new skills.
Yeah.
They try to they like where they're at. They don't want to do anything. They
Yeah.
feel like they're good with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they just don't take that initiative to, like, even if it's like, let's just say you say a word in the middle of this podcast, right? And I don't know what the hell that word means. I'm gonna go look it up after, so maybe I can apply it to a sentence I want to use later. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that, but to learn and to grow as an individual.
Yeah.
How important is it to continuously gain knowledge?
Yeah, I think we never got all the answers. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people gotta, humble themselves and realize, because even me, sometimes I gotta humble myself. I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we learn so much, or we've had success, or whatever the case is, we think that there's a ceiling. There's no ceiling to learning. Even people that's in their 50s, 60s still learning new things and still getting into new businesses, whatever the case is. It's important because I feel like once you stop, they always say, like, use it or lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not utilizing your mind or expanding it, whatever the case is, you're going to be stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to be stuck. And for people that feel like they stuck right now, it's probably because you stopped learning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And learning goes way past school. I think that's another thing that people really got to understand. It's something my pops told me. Like, you don't just learn in school. You learn on your own. Like, you have to be self-educated. You have to self-educate. And that never stops. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you graduate. I think that'd be the thing, too, though. Like, people go to school for so long. Once they get out, they're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not picking up another book. I'm not doing a class. I'm not doing nothing. I'm done with school. That's how I was. And that slowed me down. But then I realized when it's not Captain Underpants and it's a real book that's teach you about life and stuff like that, you're going to like reading. But when it's like something that you're being told to read, you're not going to like it. So I think people got to break out of that mentality of the traditional learning and understand that when you self-taught, you're going to enjoy what you're learning because you're going to see that it's going to help you progress.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's important,
Okay. So I have to ask, because from the little bit that we've been talking so far, you have this mentality of, I can't stop working because, like you said, I have to work. This is for my family. This is for my future. This is bigger than me at this point. Like, what do you feel like has made you like this?
Yeah. So now I think I'm a little more like, I'm still laser focused, but I still think that taking some time to yourself to make sure that you right is okay. But, a few years ago, I was solely like just work all day, no play, just work. And then I realized I wasn't really taking no time to enjoy life while it's happening. Like, to enjoy your success, even if it's not where you want to be, still take some time to enjoy what you've done, what you've accomplished, and also to make sure that you can work 100%. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't go in some if you're not fully yourself, But I think honestly, just seeing my parents like have me at a young age, seeing the struggles they went, now being older, understanding those struggles. Because when you're young, you think everything good. You got your game system, you got a roof over your head, you always eating, you good. And when you get older, you realize the sacrifices they made and all of that. It's almost like you willing to sacrifice all your fun, you know what I'm saying? Or you willing to sacrifice whatever to make sure that, they could retire early, that your next generation, your little sisters, your siblings, your future kids that's not even here yet, that they don't got to go through what you went through, you know what I'm saying? And that, you're building a solid foundation for yourself, you know?
Exactly.
And I feel like I owe it to my parents. I look at them now, they're getting older, and I'm like, I'm willing to say, y'all sacrifice for me, I'm willing to sacrifice for y'all. I don't care about having fun or none of that. I want to make sure y'all don't got to keep working, you know what I'm saying? Or y'all still got to go to work and all that. I'm okay with sacrificing the fun and all of that for them, you know what I'm saying? Because they did it for me. So that's how I look. That's where it comes from. It's not for like the Lambos and the Rollies, and that stuff is cool, but my motivation is not rooted in that no more. It used to be like when I was 20, it was like, yeah, I need that. But when you experience all of that, you see that every day. It's like, all right, that's gonna come. We gonna get that. But I want to get one for my moms too. You know what I'm saying? So it come from that place where it's like a sacrifice for them, and it's not really driven by the material things no more. It used to be. I keep it bug. It used to be like wholeheartedly, like, cause we all want nice things, but it switched up after like I hit like 23. I'm like, yeah, like that stuff is cool, but it ain't as cool as seeing my mom experience it or my pops. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that hit a little different. Like I want to see my mom's in the Lambo.
Yeah.
I know she want the yellow one. You know what I'm saying? She been wanted that since I was playing video games. She says, I love that car. All right, we're gonna make it a reality. You know what I'm saying? So it hit a little different when your people can enjoy it too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm so that's where it come from, like that desire and that passion. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm 22, right? And I believe that it's like you said, it's so much bigger than yourself at that point. Like you get to an age where it's just like, I could give up the game. That game ain't providing me nothing. I'm putting money in somebody else's pocket.
Right.
Like, the fact is that you can just, if you sit back and realize that like all these things that are tangible right now, they're not tangible when you leave here. You're not gonna have those same things.
That's a fact.
And like, if I can just do for other people while I'm here,
right,
the memories and the feelings those people had towards me are gonna last longer than any amount of money.
Last longer than we here.
Exactly.
They're gonna pass on.
Exactly. So like, I believe in everything that you said right now, because it is so important, like for me too, to like, I'd rather do for them than I'll do for myself right now.
Exactly.
Because I know that like, especially like I know that your parents can be like this. Like they obviously want you to do for you, and then not even focus on them. Like do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, it's like when they've done so much and sacrificed, like you said, so much for you to be able to do what you're doing. Yeah. Like I think kids sometimes don't realize, like a lot of parents, they get you that game or they get you that system, and they really couldn't in that moment.
A fact.
Like a fact. They gave up maybe something that they really needed, so that you can go in and be happy and enjoy your game. Yeah. So like I feel like
stacked up for mad long, exactly, for months, like to get that few for Christmas.
Exactly.
That's a fact.
And when they like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy. Like we don't realize that until we're older. Yeah. And like some kids or like some adults don't even realize that like kids are like people our age. Yeah. They still think mommy and daddy's still supposed to be doing for them. Mm-hmm. Like no, it's supposed to be you at this point. Like they've done what they needed to do, and they're still good. There's a lot of parents that still do help, but the mindset does have to change. Yeah. Start appreciating your parents. Start understanding that everything they've done, now it's your turn. Yeah. To do for whoever it's to do for a future child, and do for them as well. Because retiring them, that's a dream, bro. Mm-hmm. I know there's people because of this podcast, I met people who already like done things for their mom, like buy them a house, buy them a car. It's crazy. Like just the connection that you make and the people that you meet along the way really affect what your life can look like too. Yeah. So when you moved to Miami, right? Yeah. And you got there, and was it everything that you expected it to be?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was everything plus more. It was everything plus more, because what originally happened was I ended up visiting, because I was planning on moving, but I wasn't too confident in my business at the time. Okay. So I visited to work with some marketing companies, and I was going to do an interview with them to see if I could get a job. Yeah. Just so I could kind of get my feet wet, have some stability, whatever the case is. I ended up going for that 3 days to go check it out just for that. I ended up not going to none of the interviews because it was Miami. So I linked up one of my friends that was out there, and we kind of, we went to a few events, like business events, stuff like that. And like those 3 days, like I experienced Miami. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So there's like this I guess facade of what Miami really is until you like live there. You know what I'm saying? When you go for a weekend, it's like, it's lit. Like this is great. But then you realize when you live there, that's an everyday thing, and you're not gonna be in that. So it was everything is marketed to be, for sure. But I'm not the party type. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? That's never been me. So I found more love in like the water. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my thing, like being on the water, jet skis, being on the beach, all that was where I found fun. But it was everything, the partying, and when I say everything, I mean everything that you can imagine in the movies, like how it is in Scarface. But obviously, it's 2022 at the time, or 2020 at the time, 2019 at the time. But it's everything you could imagine. Yeah. Still to this day, it's always gonna be like that. But you ain't missing out on nothing. Nah, yeah. When you live there, get old. Yeah, get old very fast.
My cousin is from Fort Lauderdale, and he be having me crying with the stories that he be saying from
Yeah.
Miami, because it's exactly how like everybody thinks it is, and even crazier.
Yeah,
Like, he just be
you gotta
having
be
it.
there. You just gotta be there.
Exactly.
You know, and you're gonna have your own story, your own Miami experience. You know what I'm saying?
So what was it hard adapting? Because I feel like from the outside looking in, it may have not been that hard to adapt, but moving from East Harlem to Miami, was it a really big change in your life?
I don't think it wasn't a big change. It was more so just like having to adapt to not knowing anybody. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like, I felt more comfortable there. I wasn't worried about no shootings. I wasn't worried about none of that. No violence, none of that. Like I was super comfortable. Like the neighborhood I was in Brickell, which is like the new downtown. You know what I'm saying? So I felt and it was like a gated community condo type vibe. It was safe, chill. Like I didn't have no worries. I was tank top, white tee, basketball shorts, and slides every day type vibe, like enjoying it. But as far as adapting, it was just meeting new people and finding good people, because I met a lot of people that just wasn't good people. You know what I'm saying? As you get to hang out with them and what they involved in, how they making their money, or what they do, or just how they think, or whatever the case is, just wasn't somebody I want to be around. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of trial and error with that, you know, when you're in a new environment. But that's part of the process, you know. But adapting was fairly simple. My friends always come out and visit and stayed months at a time, weeks at a time. So I felt very automatically at home. You know, I didn't feel too far. And it felt like New York a little bit, just hot and smaller. You know what I'm saying? But that's also a hub. Everybody from all over the place is there. You know, you meet a lot of people from South America, a lot of people from different states, you know, from Cali, from here. So everybody's trying to find their way there too, you know. So you meet a lot of people that's kind of doing what you're doing. Like they just, y'all, what you doing out here? I'm out here on a limb too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking a risk too. So you meet a lot of people like that. And then a lot of the people that's from there, or that's from Cuba that, you know, moved over there, that's hustlers, that's doing their thing. It's good people. You know what I'm saying? So you feel right at home. It's just hot all day. You know what I'm saying? So
I have to ask, Ray, because you've been able to come to success at an age where a lot of people don't. You know what I mean? Like there's 25-year-olds, there's late 20s still trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with still trying to figure it out.
Not at all.
Everybody got a different time. Everybody got a different story.
Yeah.
And everything happens to everyone at certain times in their life when God thinks it's a right time.
Yeah. So
does it ever feel surreal to you?
Yeah, a lot of the things that I've experienced at this age, I don't think I ever thought about at one point. You know, especially when I was in the dorms, I wasn't thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? But it does. Sometimes it does. You know, sometimes it doesn't feel like enough, because again, like I said, my main goal is to be able to take care more than just myself. But it does sometimes, and I think sometimes you got to realize that it's not really you. This is what God has planned for you. Yeah. And I think when you realize that, you kind of don't get too caught up in those things. You realize you're just part of the blessing, because it could always be taken from you too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it feels. Sometimes it feels like, you know, this is meant for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you have the right intention at heart, what you're doing. But it doesn't ever feel like I've made it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't really get too caught up in the success I've been blessed enough to have so far, because it's just like the start. You know what I'm saying? It's still the start, still part of the journey. You know?
So what do you feel like is one of the hardest part of this entire process for you?
As far as in the business, or just in a general sense?
In general sense.
I think the hardest part is just dealing with the problems that you come across. You got to face them head on. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody else that's going to fix them for you. Like you are the source, you are the beginning and the end of everything when it comes to in your life, but also in business. You know what I'm saying? Like every problem that occurs, you got to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot more responsibility. I think that's the hardest part. You know, being disciplined and having to deal with all of the responsibility of everything. You have to oversee everything. And then even if you have people working in your businesses or whatever the case is, if you're that person, like you have to overlook everything. You know what I'm saying? You have to oversee everything. You have to be the decision maker. You have to be confident in those decisions. And your tolerance for certain stuff has to be zero. You know, and sometimes that means letting people go, or, you know, and with properties, you got to evict people. Like, it's just like, it's stuff you don't want to do, but you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just business. You know, it's not personal. And that's something that I had a hard time learning, because I you know, giving people chances and this and, you know, being lenient and that stuff is like, unfortunately, you can't be like that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to have, you know, massive success, if you want your businesses to be bulletproof and all of that, you can't. You know, there's certain things that you can't go for.
Exactly.
Know? And you got to stick by and abide by, and people have to respect that as well. You know,
So what advice would you give to somebody that, you know, is having a hard time standing on their 2 feet and trying to like stand for what they do?
Yeah. I think you gotta believe wholeheartedly in what it is that you're doing. You know, if what you're doing, whether it's your business or you content creator, whatever it is, if you have a vision of where you see yourself going, you gotta make a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? That has to be planned out. I think a lot of people have great ideas, but they're not really planned out, and that's why they feel stuck, stagnant. They don't have like a 6-month plan. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the next few weeks written out. I'm sure you, like you said, you booked out till July.
Yeah.
Like some people was just going off the limb. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you got that written down. This date, this time. You got to be structured. You know, and when you're structured, you following a plan. You know, then it's just a matter of time, consistency, and putting in that effort. You know, a lot of people not doing that. A lot of people going off the top, like, hey, I'm gonna do this today and do that tomorrow, and you know they're not really all in. You know, so you got a hard time standing on your 2 feet. You know, it's probably because you're not all in.
Exactly.
You know so, and be willing to fail. That's the biggest thing. I think that fear of failure a lot. You know, everybody talks about this, but you gotta accept it. You know what I'm saying? That it's gonna happen. Nobody's too good to avoid that. You know, and that was me. My problem was that I thought I was too good to fail. Like, nah, I'm too good at this. There's no way it has to go right. Like that perfectionist syndrome, you know? And you can't be like that, because once you accept that it's gonna happen, it's inevitable, failure is inevitable, and it's life's best teacher, you'll get past the hard points and whatever, you know, the business is going through or whatever. And if you planned out, you'll be prepared for those failures, and then you'll surpass that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would tell people to do. Just be planned out, you know, be solid in your belief in what it is that you're doing, and have a vision, have a plan, and stay consistent. Stick to it. You know what I'm saying?
So what is your favorite moment in that you've been able to experience because of the career path that you took and following your passion?
When I think about it, it's a lot. And it's almost like, I think the biggest, the best moment for me so far, as far as like an event, like, you know, a time where I really got to take it all in and like think about, like, damn, I think we was all on a boat. We was on like 3 boats in Miami, these yachts. We popping bottles, doing all this, whatever. We was celebrating the business that we was doing at that time. We had like probably one of the best months that we had, and we decided to go out and celebrate. And coming from a place like East Harlem, you know what I'm saying, like growing up there, playing sports, like all that stuff, like you just looking now, you're looking at all the wealth around you, and you still not where you want to be, but you just like, damn, like this is it's crazy to think that most people where we from would never experience that. You know, so it's almost like a humbling moment, and that's the material thing, but it was just more so like a surreal moment where it's like, damn, the work that I'm putting in is progressing our life. You know what I'm saying? It's putting us in a better position. We're not where we want to be, but this is like, you know, real. And then, you know, my mom's in her house and everything we've done with that, and you know, just a lot of different things, being able to provide for the family. You know what I'm saying? You know, this person need money, we could give it to them, and you know, your grandma need bread, or your moms need money, or a bill need to be paid, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like those little things like that, they make you feel fulfilled.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like being it, like I said, that's what it really comes down to. Like those moments where it's surreal with your people, like your friends, you know, your business partners, and then those moments where you could show that you could take care of your people. You know what I'm saying? Like that I think that outweighs everything.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like one of those the moments. I can't even put one moment, you know what I'm saying? Because it's too many. But those moments make you realize, like, damn, you know, waking up to a certain view in the morning and just being able to say, like, damn, like, this is way further than where we started, you know? And you can take a second and take in the progress that you've made, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it, you know?
So I've never asked this question before. Like, I don't know, it just came up because of everything that you said.
Yeah.
If there was anything that you would want to change the world to make it better, what would you change about it?
I would change how people look at each other. I think, like, the way that people, you know, some people got preconceived notions about people without even knowing them. And I think that if everybody took the time to get to know the person next to them, get to know their story, where they come from, why they are the way they are, we could all respect each other a little more, you know? But I think people just just judge without understanding.
Exactly.
And everybody's away for a certain reason. And I think we could all understand that and respect that about each other. Would be a lot further.
Exactly.
It would be a lot further. So, because people look at me, they think I don't know what they think, but from what I've heard, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Some people think I'm silver spoon. And when you know my story, like you know what I'm saying. I was raised around a lot of people who, had start from nothing, build their way up, and I'm just trying to continue that legacy. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't had it given to me. They see me in Miami, they think I always been there. They don't know about where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how I grew up. They don't know about the sports. They don't know about college. They don't know about none of that. They just see like the success. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They see, he's from Miami. He's lived it. Like, nah, like that's chapter 10. You know what I'm saying? That's not even half of it. You know what I'm saying? That's not the truth. That's just the ending. You know what I'm saying? Or the middle, I should say. But yeah, that's
what
the
ending. You got so much
not
more
the
going
ending.
on.
Definitely not the ending. Yeah. But yeah.
Just to continue on, right? We are getting we're getting a little bit close to the end. We're not too far off.
Yeah.
But I just find it crazy, and I have to give you your flowers. The fact is that you took the initiative to be able to do something that you're doing, and you love doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to be able to be 25 and being able to say the things that you've been able to do that a lot of people haven't. And it's not a flex. It's not this persona that I'm better than everyone. It's the fact of the matter is, all my time, all the nights that I couldn't sleep, all the times that I felt like I wasn't going to be where I'm at right now, it all happened.
Yeah.
And I was able to do it, and I was able to do things, and I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
And I got to give you your flowers, bro. It's got to be an amazing feeling.
Yeah, for
you know what I mean? But when it comes to being a businessman, right?
Yeah.
What is one thing you would advise someone to implement in themselves?
I would say sternness, like being stern, especially if you're young, because I think when you're young in this space, a lot of people don't take you serious, or they think that you can't carry yourself, or you can't operate a business, or you just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think being stern and being solid on your word, being true to your word, like whatever you say you're going to do it. And even we all have trouble with this sometimes, like forgetting things or whatever the case is, but trying to stay 100% committed to whatever you set yourself out to commit, or if you give your word to somebody or a partnership or something like that, do good business. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially being young, you're at a disadvantage because a lot of people that is really solidified in whatever they're doing, they don't take the younger generation serious. They think we all lazy. They think we just a bunch of AI robots. You know what I'm saying? They think we don't do nothing organically. Like, they think that we think we better than everybody because we smarter than a lot of people, older generations, because of what we have access to, what we understand. But you got to just be like, you got to move like you older, and move stern and move solid. That's really it.
And do you feel like everybody should be taking advantage of the tools that we have now, which is technology?
Yeah, 100%.
Because I feel like it's like, for example, we spoke off camera about ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And it is an amazing tool that people should use, and it's like these new AIs. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a little hesitant on it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that why not use this new technology to your advantage,
right?
To build something that there's editing softwares that do it for you now.
Exactly.
There in this day and age, there is no excuse.
Yeah.
There's no excuse to not be able to do exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
I get it. There's problems that people are gonna face. There's people in situations that may not be the best situations,
right?
But make the best out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the reason I'm bringing all of this together is, do you feel like people should be taking advantage of all these tools?
Yeah, of course. I think when you look at AI, for example, just the world of AI, like a few years ago, it was, you have crypto and all of these things, and now you fast forward to now, everything's AI. Like, we in the AI boom, pretty much. There's AI for everything. I think a lot of people look at like the negatives, but I don't think, because there's so much uncertainty because it's so new, I don't think you should ever really focus on that, because if you can see that there's positive benefits to it, you should utilize it. Like ChatGPT, the fact that it could pretty much do anything you tell it to do, from homework to, build a business plan for you, like, or tell you how to make money in different ways, or what tool, like, it can do everything for you.
Yeah.
It's almost a free personal assistant. You know what I'm saying? So utilize it. Even with apps, I remember like 10 years ago, an app used to, even still now, it costs a good amount of money, but you got apps now that build apps. You know what I'm saying? Like we building an app right now for a community that's gonna have a bunch of resources and stuff like that. But we're using a software that the purpose of the software is to build an app without having to know how to code and all of that. So it's almost like we have all the tools that we need to kind of cut the time in half. And in reality, time is all we got. You know what I'm saying? And that's not infinite. That's we have limited time here. So why not utilize tools to take things that would have took 5 to 10 years to do it in 5 months? Because the most valuable thing we got is time. Exactly. So I look at it in that perspective, whereas like, if it's created for us to save time, that's all they're trying to do. Is create stuff that it's gonna. People say, oh, it makes you lazy and all that, but I look at it like it's saving us time, and we don't have infinite amount of that. So why not? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Why not? And dibble and dabble in it. See what AI, like even like you said, content creators, you could cut up a whole 3-4 hour video in 10 minutes and have, you know, a bunch of different clips.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So I wanted to ask, you mentioned time and it being probably the most valuable thing that we have as humans
100%.
on this earth.
Yeah.
Why is time so valuable?
I think when you look at it from the grand scale of things, you know that one day is going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's the time going to run out. And I think that when you think of that and you realize that and you accept that, you start to become a lot more tedious with where you exert your time. You know, that time you spend 5, 6, 7 hours doing nothing or whatever you're doing, it becomes, you start to realize, okay, I should be utilizing this more wisely with my family or whatever, you know. And I think it's the most valuable thing because if you look at like a calendar, for example, right? You stack them up, and what's like the average life expectancy is like what, 60-some years, whatever. You can hold those in your hand. Every year you just put one to the side. And like that's what your life is fragile, you know what I'm saying? So if you're not trying to make the best out of it, you just wait you precious time. Now looking from the perspective of people that I've lost at a young age, like, you know, my friends that have passed at young ages, they didn't get to live out a full life, you know what I'm saying? So the time that we spend, that we take for granted and stuff like that, I feel like, you know, when you've experienced stuff like that, or you have friends that have went at a young age or family, you it's precious, you know what I'm saying? It's precious, and you realize that some people haven't experienced that, so you just like whatever. But when they would do anything to have just one more second, you know what I'm saying? 1 more minute with their family or whatever. So I look at it from a little more of that perspective, you know. But it's just not it's not forever. Exactly. Know? Some people think we got forever, and it's not the case. So it's the most valuable asset we have. Exactly. That's why I say everything is about time. We talk about financial freedom. It's not about the money. It's about the time. You know what I'm saying? It's never really about the money.
Exactly.
It's about the time. Doing what you want to do with your time. You don't want to be stuck at work or what. Everybody has their own reason, but the money is time.
Exactly.
They found a way to put something that don't exist into paper.
Exactly.
And that's really what that is. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want when you got that.
So now we're pretty close to the end. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and ask the questions that I usually ask to everybody at the end. Yeah. So what is it that wakes you up every morning, maybe even keeps you up at night to do what you do?
Like I said, that those sacrifices I've seen, my entire family have to do. You know what I'm saying? That's my main thing. And then realizing that there's always more to chase. Like we look at like Jeff Bezos and all these dudes. Like you don't get content with, you know, a 50K month. You know what I'm saying? You look at they making that in an hour. You know. And again, it's not about the money. It's just like what they're able to do for their community. Or you know, they don't do nothing, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? What I would be able to do, what my friends would be able to do for our communities or for our families, or how we'd be able to help, you know, just people around us. You know what I'm saying? That if you feel like you have the knowledge and the ability to do that, why wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? If you aware of it and you want to make a change, because there's too much people talking about change, but nobody really trying to actually physically do something about the things that they have an issue with. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, money talks. That's the reality. You know what I'm saying? You see LeBron James opening schools and this and that. I want to be able to contribute to the world by doing something, not just talking about it. You know, so that keep me up. You know what I'm saying? That keep me motivated.
Gotcha.
You know?
So usually what people ask, I completely changed this question around because of how many people ask this question. Usually people would ask you, what message would you give to your younger self, correct?
Yeah.
I want you to give a message to your future self.
Like that. A message to my future self. That's a good good turnaround. Damn.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of people don't realize, but these videos that we make,
Yeah.
these moments that we live in that get caught on camera that you post on Instagram, that future you is gonna look back at it and be like, damn, I've come a long way.
Yeah.
So
I thought about it like that.
exactly.
It's a fact. Like, you really gonna see that. Like, you can't really talk to your younger self, but your older self is gonna see that. That's a fact. Damn. You're gonna have to cut this part. Give me 2 seconds, because I ain't gonna lie. That's a good question, though. Because of the work that you're doing today, or make sure that the work that you're doing right now, make sure that I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to think about, like, the future generations, bro. Like, some that you, like, your kids or your grandkids, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, something that got to do with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not where you want to be, or if you are where you want to be, you know, shit, make sure that them kids don't got to go through what you went through. Like, that should keep you on your toes. Even if you had the success that, you know what I'm saying? So a message I would give my future self is, make sure you don't ever go back to square one. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't matter where you at in your life. You could be up hundreds of M's and lose it all because you get too complacent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that'd be one thing I'll say, because I know complacency is something that anybody could fall upon. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you never get complacent. Make sure that you never end up in square one, and nobody else ever got to start at square one again.
Gotcha.
We already went through that. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Last but not least,
Yeah.
what do you want the world to know about Kai Christopher?
Everybody I surround myself with, we gonna make an impact. Whether you experience it now, whether you experience it in 10 years, 50 years from now, whatever, you know, but whoever's in tune with me, whoever I'm in tune with, you know, if you see me with them, we gonna make an impact on you, on some way, shape, or form. We gonna leave an everlasting impact, and we're gonna do it through multiple different ways. You know, not just the traditional. We're gonna find a way to make it happen. But other than that, you know, I'm just trying to be the best I could be. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make the best impact I can and take care of the family. So if you're anything like me, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be anything like someone who has drive and passion, you know, keep your family and God first. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be all right. Everything from there will take care of itself.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
So we are at the end of the podcast.
Appreciate it, bro.
I gotta say I appreciate you for being here. But before you go, the camera is now all yours. Anything you got going on, anything that you want to say, any advice you want to give, if there's anything at all that you want to say to the camera's now all yours.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we got an app coming out within the next 3 months. It's going to be focused on, you know, helping people who are new to the space of entrepreneurship or just want to be around like-minded people. You might not have that access wherever you're from. Or whoever you're around right now may not be the people that you feel like you want to elevate with, or maybe I want to elevate together. We create a community for you guys to connect with like-minded individuals from all over the world, but also get a lot of resources that'll help you in the real world. You know, from sales to digital marketing to creating your own, you know, content creation company, media company, whatever it is you want to do. You know, your own apps, whatever. We're going to have people in there that's going to help us educate y'all and pretty much give you the tools you need to take full advantage of this digital space we're in. So that'll be coming out in the next 3 months. But that's really it, though, bro. I appreciate you having me.
Of course. And as of right now, I'm just going to go ahead and do my outro.
Yeah.
Like I said, Kai, I appreciate you for being here. It means a lot to me to have individuals like yourself come on here. I know you got your boy in the back, so we're going to get him on after this.
Yeah, for sure.
But thank you again for coming out.
For sure, bro. Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
So this is the Community Pod. I'm your host, Lester Class. Thank you for saying the entire episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please comment. Let me know your favorite part. Like, subscribe, put on post notifications so you never miss a future video. If you're watching on any audio platforms, thank you for listening audioly, because I know that sometimes you guys want to see what it looks like in person. So listen, if you're watching on any audio platforms, thank you. Leave a review. It allows other people to find my platform. Last but not least, to anybody who's new here, welcome to the Community Pod. And if you guys have been, or girls, have been watching my videos for quite some time now, thank you for being here. It means the world to me. I couldn't make a community without you guys. So thank you so much. And I'm out. We're out. Peace.
For sure. Let's get it. Peace.